What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 171 of the Fantasy Focused podcast. Ryan Levy here. Happy to be back with my boys, Derek Tate and Matt Bucks. How you fellas doing out there?
Levy, warm welcome back, bud. Welcome back to the States. How was Asia?
It was awesome. Interesting experiences in Asia specifically, but I will withhold most of that information for the podcast. But it was a great trip overall, boys.
This is actually a landmark podcast for us with number 171. 171 wings is the amount of wings I've had from Hooters since we joined in our partnership. So I've been counting every Hooters wing that I've eaten since the signing of the deal. I've had 171 wings. Believe it or not, I had to steal the extra wing because I always get it in increments of 10. But I knew 171 was coming up. I was at Hooters on Friday. Here I am today. 171.
Yeah, and we know people. You can probably get an 11-pack instead of a 10-pack.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hurting my weight loss. But it's one of those things where it's like, look, if I want to have a full life, then I need a full stomach. And the only way that I feel full is with a nice 10-pack of Hooters Original Hot, along with some curly fries with the allspice seasoning. There's nothing better.
No, give me that 007 sauce dipped in or tossed in ranch.
Oh yeah, Tater. Now you're speaking my language, brother.
All drummies, baby, and with tots. To hell with the curly fries.
Okay, I mean, Tots is a fine product. It's an absolutely fine product there, but the curlies are superior. I think the curlies are the orig. So I'm an OG type of guy. You know, Frank Gore. We'll be hearing more about him in a little bit.
Yeah, we will. This is the old cyborg. But we're recording here on April Fool's Day, boys. And being the social media guru I am, I've been lurking the social media pages today. I don't know if you guys saw, but Tommy Boy Brady created a Twitter account today. He's only got 107,000 followers because he sent his first tweet today. And it said, "I'm retiring. In my spare time, I'll be tweeting. Hashtag LFG. Let's effing go." I mean, if that's not the GOATest tweet of all time, I don't know what is.
I mean, come on. Whatever, Tommy boy. You can do whatever the hell you want. You have 6 rings. So I have no room to question any type of joke you would like to make. I'll go ahead and give you the chuckle that I give to a boss that I don't find a funny joke. So, ha, ha, ha.
Well, then he followed that up with, was this a bad joke? ? So Tommy B getting out there on the Twitter. I respect it. I love it. Bucky, any thoughts?
This confirms that Tom Brady is actually the father to his kids, because that is such a dad joke that just doesn't hit on any level. I give him credit for taking a run at Twitter. Lord knows it's beaten me down into the abyss time and time again. So
Tom Brady officially has more tweets than Bucky.
No. About 107,000 more followers than me.
After one tweet.
But I have about 38 tweets.
Unbelievable. I love it. But so for today's episode 171, we're going to talk about our top 10 running back.
I had a funny a funny Fool's Day. So I play rec softball with, a bunch of degenerates. Face guys. The best ever, the GOAT. And we got an email today from the league normal email from the league, and it said, it's in this big font. It reads, "Due to a change in our insurance carriers, we now need all participants and players to undergo mandatory drug testing in order to play." And then there's a link underneath it that says, "Click here for list of outpatient places where you can go to get the screening done." And then you clicked it, and it was just a whole bunch of April Fool's memes on their websites. It was great. I mean, it was a hilarious thing. It's basically them telling the majority of the league, "Look, we know you're not pissing clean. Happy April Fool's Day. Have a good one for a little bit, and know that your hopes and dreams of being a big-time athlete are coming to a very swift end."
That's absolutely incredible. I got to tip the hat to the marketing team for Tampa Bay Club Sport.
Yeah, really well done. Really well done. I'm sure it shook up a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure it did.
I love it. So before we talk about our top 10 running back rankings here for 2019 PPR formats, we'll say, I know it's early, but we don't believe any rookie running backs are going to crack the top 10 this year. But a couple pieces of news real quick, boys. Jordan Howard was traded about a week ago to Philadelphia for only a 6th round pick in 2020. It has the capability to be a 5th round pick, but I personally believe this is a great deal for the Eagles, especially with the loss of Jay Ajayi on that team. Tater, let's go to you first. Thoughts on Jordan Howard in 2019?
I don't know if it makes me feel a ton better about Jordan Howard, even though we found out what he was in the Chicago offense. So it does put a little bit more upside to his situation. It doesn't vault me. As we're going to be talking about our rankings here, it's not going to have enough of an effect for me to push Jordan Howard into elite status or anything of that nature. However, the landing spot is certainly favorable. I mean, they need a lead back there, and Howard has proven that he can be a lead back. Again, his lack of versatility in the passing game, how Doug Peterson likes to rotate his running backs. I don't see Howard having a very high ceiling, but I still think he's going to be a good, solid running back 2 or 3 for the 2018 season or 19 season.
He's right there in running back 2 or 3 range for me as well. It is a grab bag, and we don't know what the future for Darren Sproles is at this juncture. Not that Jordan Howard would be tasked with the same role in that offense that a guy like Sproles, the jitterbug himself. I love that water bug just jittering around. I hope he doesn't retire. That'd really bum me out. But he's going to let voluntary camps get here, and he'll decide his future there after the draft, it seems. But I have to say, let's talk about the trade for a minute. A 2026 rounder is all that it cost the Eagles. I mean, come on, Bears, you should have at least requested a Joe Pesci album be thrown on top of that as well. It's the bitches that'll get you.
Yes. Now we're talking.
It's about time somebody brought up that Joe Pesci, like a signed platinum album, should be a part of this draft day deal. That would have made it at least a little bit more reasonable for the Bears, but unfortunately, as the trade stands right now, I think they got hosed.
Yeah, it's crazy because how many yards? He was over 900 yards every year, correct?
Yeah, I mean 900 this past year was his worst of his 3 years. He had topped 1100 in his first 2 years.
I mean, you're giving away a guy who has had very good production on a not so great offensive team, and you trade him away for a pack of gum. It's incredible to me. I know that that's not the type of player that Nagy wants to use up there in Chicago. I understand that. But get something out of the deal. And yeah, it should have been, look, when he goes over there to get his physical and sign his contract, we also will have a team representative from the Bears there. We expect Joe Pesci to be in the building to sign his album as soon as Jordan Howard signs his contract. And then they can proceed accordingly.
Listen, he's been a top 25 running back every year he's been in the league, including last year in a down year in Nagy's offense. So I agree. I think they got hosed. I think they could have got a little bit more from him. But then again, I believe he was a 5th-round draft pick a few years back, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, they essentially got the same value in return for him, right?
Yeah, this is actually something that's going to be very interesting to see what the Bears do if they add another player to go alongside Tariq Cohen, whether it be free agency or the draft coming up. But Howard, I mean, Mike Davis, that's all right. I'm not talking crap about Mike Davis. Mike Davis can ball, but I mean, Cohen is going to be a guy that gets a significant bump on my rankings now. He was already a solid PPR option. Now I just think his role expands as he's a much better fit for what Nagy wants to do in this offense in Chicago. Howard, yeah, I mean, you mentioned that he's had over 900 yards rushing every single season. We've also seen his production steadily declined ever since his rookie year. I mean, we saw his yards per carry dip each and every season. I mean, yeah, he scored 9 touchdowns in what was an effective offense. I think it's a good move over to Philadelphia. I don't know if I see his workload going back up, but that is still a very talented offensive group, including up front along the offensive line. So Howard should at least see around the 250 carry mark yet again. Just know that he's not going to be doing much more in the passing game.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tater. As a dynasty owner of Jordan Howard, I'm excited about the move because obviously he didn't fit well in Nagy's offense. So, I mean, if you're a Josh Adams owner, though, you can't be happy about this move.
Or Donnell Pumphrey or any of the other litany of running backs it seems like the damn Philadelphia Eagles have. But yeah, no, Howard definitely is the lead guy for me, unless they do something crazy via the draft. But yeah, I like where Jordan Howard is as a running back 2/3.
Cool.
Tate, what does litany mean? Is that like Nittany, like the Nittany Lions? Litany Lions?
I would say that for me, I always thought that it meant a plethora of options, many options. It seems like there's many running backs on this roster that seem to get carries every single damn year. When's the last time we feel like they've had a lead back in Philadelphia? I mean, Darren Sproles has always gotten involved. We've
Shady
seen
McCoy.
I mean, Shady McCoy. Yeah. I mean, ever since Shady, they brought in DeMarco Murray, but he was also platooned with Ryan Matthews. I mean, we just haven't seen a true lead back since Doug Peterson's been there in Philadelphia.
Thank you for the explanation and definition there, because you hit it spot on. That was a test.
I'm impressed.
I knew you'd pass it.
Come on, man. I'm pretty articulate. I tell you that.
I actually am pumped about Mike Davis. I like Mike Davis. I think he's a shifty back.
Mike Davis might score 10 touchdowns in Chicago this year.
No.
That offense is great. And I'm not even a Trubisky guy, but the offense is impressive. He's going to have a lot of opportunity.
He almost had 750 yards last year, 5 combined touchdowns, showed a bit of flash, had a 37-yard run. It was just a wonderful player, Mike Davis. But 4.6 yards per carry behind that Seattle line, not too shabby there for Mikey D. I look for Mike D and the homies to have a really, really strong season in Chicago.
Mike D rolling with the homies. I like it.
No, it's Mike D and the homies. That is going to be what I call the Chicago Bears running back. Fair. They're all buddies.
All right, let's shift to Isaiah Crowell. He is a Raider now in Gruden's camp. Tater, any thoughts on that situation?
I'll tell you what, man. I always liked what I saw from Isaiah Crowell. That's why I decided to bring him in here, man, to Oakland. I tell you. So Isaiah Crowell, I actually thought he was pretty good with his opportunities last year in New York. He was very inconsistent, but we saw that he was efficient. He was effective when he did get his looks. Averaged 4.8 yards per carry on the ground last year. So I mean, not that I think that the situation gets a whole much better there in Oakland, but again, unless they bring in somebody via the draft, and if Lynch doesn't come back, then I do think Crowell, unless Chris Warren III gets an actual legitimate look as the starting back, I do think Crowell is probably going to be first in line if Lynch doesn't come back, and he'll ho-hum his way to a running back 3 season.
I don't see it.
I like Crowell.
I like Crowell. I just don't see him in this Oakland offense as being anything except like a 5th option running back.
This is such a Gruden move.
5th option?
Not like for the team, for your fantasy team.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely he's definitely a bench guy. He's definitely a bench rotational guy, even though I don't think he's a terrible player. No. But no, he's someone that I definitely think you're going to be able to get like towards the last round or so, maybe somewhere around round 10, depending on how he does in the preseason. If he looks like the lead guy, then his value may jump a little bit. But yeah, Crowell is a guy that I think he's a nice rotational bench guy that you'll be able to get on draft day at a bargain.
He's like Peyton Barber.
Yeah.
Exact. Dude, that's a great comparison.
I'm here all week.
Attaboy, Bucky. All right, let's get into our top 10 running backs, shall we, boys? Let's start. We'll go through our top 3 each. Bucky, you're going to kick us off. Hope you don't mind, but give me your top 3 running backs as of now, as of April 1st, 2019.
In a PPR format, I still have Saquon number 1. I mean, that should go without saying. His running ability combined with his propensity to catch passes and catch them quite well and make big plays. He's my number 1. Ezekiel Elliott, number 2. He's just an absolute workhorse. They're going to continue to give him the rock and run it. When you have a quarterback like Dakota Prescott, you're going to have to run it with a guy like Ezekiel Elliott. You got to ride those horses. And then Todd Gurley. I know there's a lot of uncertainty regarding Todd Gurley. You're probably going to think I'm a clown for putting him in front of the likes of McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara.
Yep.
But I'm going to stick with Gurley here. I'm a Gurley man.
I can't do it, but I respect it. I hope he's healthy, man. I'm nervous about Gurley headed into 2019. I don't feel good about it at all.
I'm nervous too. I mean, I'm nervous most days just to wake up and did I brush my teeth as I leave the house? And by leave the house, I mean leave my bathroom and walk to my PC desk where I work all day. But I have a lot of anxiety about things, and trust me, Todd Gurley doesn't make that any better. But I would gladly pick Todd Gurley with the number 3 pick this year.
All right. Tater, who you got?
So, Bucky, I'm writing these down. Just want to make sure you had Saquon, Zeke, and Gurley, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we agree. I have Saquon at the top of my board. Caught 91 passes as a rookie on a terrible offense. And what's only going to be worse because now they don't have Odell Beckham Jr. So I expect with Eli Manning, who doesn't seem in a rush whatsoever to throw a pass further than 15 yards down past the line of scrimmage, I think Barkley is going to catch 100 passes this year if he stays healthy. So
Okay.
that paired with his rushing ability, 2,000 total yards as a rookie on a horrible team. He's really the only guy on this offense that is going to be reliable. And boy, with the opportunities that he's going to get, he's so dynamic that even on a bad team, he's still going to put up monster fantasy numbers. I love Saquon Barkley at 1. At 2, I've got Alvin Kamara. Now, Kamara with no Mark Ingram. Keep in mind, through the first 4 weeks of the season, when there was no Mark Ingram to contend with, Kamara was actually the number 1 fantasy back across all formats, including PPR. So Gurley, of course, this was when Gurley was absolutely balling to start the year. So Kamara with no Mark Ingram in this offense, he is an absolute perfect fit as far as the system goes. His skill set alongside Drew Brees, Kamara is going to absolutely ball out this year, and I expect to see him even challenge for the number 1 overall spot. I thought about putting him at number 1 overall. I just couldn't do it over Saquon Barkley, who I just think is just an absolute generational talent. And then at 3 bucks, I do agree. Todd Gurley on kind of not able to finish the year strong because of the problems with his knee, still scored 21 touchdowns this year. So, I mean, very few times does a number 1 pick actually live up to his potential. Because, I mean, a lot of times players will have letdown seasons. That wasn't the case with Todd Gurley. I know that he had a horrible postseason. He definitely was not 100%, but I still have, like you said, it gives you the warm and fuzzies to take Todd Gurley if you're picking number 3 overall, and he's still on the board.
Gurley, man.
Tate, I'm actually kind of surprised that you didn't have Alvin Kamara, whatever you call him. I say Kamara as your number 1 guy. I thought that was coming for sure.
Hakuna Kamara.
I think it makes sense to have Barkley at number 1, though.
No, I agree, but I don't have him there.
That's fine.
I think you guys are absolutely batshit insane for having Todd Gurley at number 3. How can you do that? This guy has arthritis. That does not sound well at all.
They got meds for that.
Well, they better be shooting up his knees because it's going to be a long and painful season for Mr. Gurley. And old fat boy CJA is going to be taking some carries from Todd Gurley. I got news for you, boys.
Oh God,
old Chubb Master Flex.
Oh, you just wait to see how far he's fallen in my rankings. But
oh, okay, let's go. Without further ado, give us your top 3 there, kid.
Here we go. All right, number 1, I got Zeke, my boy Zeke, 381 touches to Saquon's 352 touches. I know Saquon had 2,000 total yards. It's hard to deny that. But with no ODB, I don't feel that confident that he's going to duplicate those type of numbers. I still believe he's a top 3 running back, no doubt about it. 91 catches for a rookie is absolutely insane, but I don't think he sniffs 100 catches this year. If he does sniff 100 catches, Tate, like you say, there's no chance in hell he's going to have 700 yards receiving because they're going to be 1-yard passes. He's going to be smothered because there's no one else to focus on in this offense besides Saquon.
Oh boy, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, even if you try to smother him out of the backfield, which yes, the opposing defenses were trying to do that last year and they failed to do so. This guy is freaky, elusive, and one-on-one in the open field against Saquon Barkley. I bet on Barkley all day to make plenty of big plays in the passing attack, especially when he's seeing 90+ receptions as a damn rookie, dude, and there's no Odell Beckham Jr. there anymore. So again, and the fact that the quarterback doesn't want to push the ball down the field, that means he is more than content to just check it to Saquon Barkley all day long.
With everyone and their mother all over him. Because, I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, they're not going to be focused on Golden Taint anymore. I mean, come on, let's go.
I mean, that's fine. Again, you're totally fine. I mean, especially with having Zeke at number 1. I mean, the dude led the league in rushing. So
Zeke got 77 catches.
Zeke's a monster, dude. Yeah, I'm not talking shit about Zeke. I'm just saying you're talking about. I mean, if you don't feel like Barkley's going to catch 90 passes this year, I just look at it like who the hell is for the New York Giants?
Are we going to be setting up our first bet of the season already? Is it happening now?
90 receptions is high, though.
It's really high.
That's really freaking high. Yeah, we'd have to lower that in order for me to take a bet.
82.5.
No, I'm not messing with that.
I knew it.
Because it's going to be like 86.
Oh, 85.5.
You said he's not sniffing 91 receptions. 86 is only 5 off. So I'd say that's sniffing 91 receptions.
You're right.
One grain of sand off.
I should have said he's not sniffing 700 yards receiving. I don't believe that.
All right. That's all well and fine. But I mean, so you have Zeke at 1. Who do you have at 2?
I've got Saquon at 2. It's an easy pick there. But at 3, I've got my boy CMC, as the kids are calling him these days. Christian McCaffrey. I mean, that's my dude. You guys know I've been all over him as a rookie. I was on him in terms of PPR, catching over 80 balls. Last year, he finished as the number 2 PPR back ahead of Gurley and Kamara. So I do love CMC, and I think he's going to continue to shoulder a big load, as I like to say. CMC can handle it.
Huge load.
Big load guy.
All right, Bucky, who you got at 4, 5, and 6?
Oh, man, it's back on the buck, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I got C-Mick. At my number 4, I have Kamara at number 5. And then I have Joe Mixon making a move up to number 6. I've seen enough out of Joe Mixon. I still hate the human being Joe Mixon. Let's make that abundantly clear. Yep. But the football player Joey Mix piece is all in the mix for a top 5 back this year. So I have him right there, right on the precipice, looking down at number 6.
What a great word.
So I hear you on Mixon, but that seems like pretty, man, you really have that much confidence in Joe Mixon? I mean, the Bengals seem like they're an absolute mess. I mean, of course, he flashed a shit ton of talent, and still love Joe Mixon as a player, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty high, man. You're planting your flag there, Buck. I like it.
I got to shake it up, man. If for nothing else, I need to just have street credit. And when I say that I had Joey Mix piece as my number 6, I meant it.
Dude, I love it.
It's the bitches that'll get you. Joey Mix, Joey Pesci. I mean, we're just all full of Joeys here. All right, I'll admit,
I was heavily leaning on Joes here. So I have a few more Joes in the holster for the top 10 as well.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, then I've got at 4. I'm actually going to put in a PPR format, and I know this is going to make Levy throw up. I've got Christian McCaffrey at 4, just in strictly PPR formats. If it was standard, I'd have Zeke a little bit higher, but I have Zeke at 5, which I have a hard time putting Zeke at 5, but given the format, I trust the other guys more as far as consistent production and out of the passing game. Now I know that Zeke had a great year as far as catching pass. I think you said 70 something, correct?
77.
So I mean, that's damn near 80 receptions. Kamara caught 81. So, but anyway, so I've got Zeke at 5, and then I've got Melvin Gordon at 6. Melvin Gordon was absolutely fantastic last year in an offense that's going to come back again this year and be, I think, even better than they were last year. They're getting back Hunter Henry. You have Mike Williams, who could take another step as a dynamic 1B to Keenan Allen's 1A on the outside. The pairing with Austin Eckler they complement each other very well. Explosive plays, great around inside the 5 as far as scoring touchdowns and touchdown production. I've got Melvin Gordon at 6.
Dude, you know I love Melvin Gordon. I'm all about that, Tate. I respect the hell out of that, because I got Melvin Gordon a little bit further down. I won't divulge my full rankings yet, but I like where you have him there. But I do think you're crazy for having Zeke all the way at 5. But hey, we are very deep at running back this year. I'm excited.
It's a loaded year for the running back spot. So who do you got at 4, Libby?
All right, 4, I've got Alvin Kamara. I'm a fan. PPR, I think he's potentially the number one running back. The upside is certainly there. If you've got a top 5 pick this year in PPR formats, you should be pumped. If you take anyone besides a running back, I think you're an idiot. Don't be the guy that goes and takes Patrick Mahomes. If you didn't hear the debate on the fantasy debate with Sam and Tate, I did enjoy your guys' debate on the Patrick Mahomes first round or not, but I'm not taking a quarterback in the first round. I'm probably taking, I know I'm taking a running back, and on the way back, I'm probably taking a running back because it's stacked this year. But anyway, Kamara at 4 for me. Number 5, here's my first curveball of the day, boys. David Johnson. Let's not forget, we're only a couple years removed from this guy being a 1 or 2 overall pick. New coach here, new old ball coach, Cliff Kingsbury. He's going to find a way to get this man the rock. I still believe he's a top 3 talent in this league at the running back position. He's going to outshine Todd Gurley this year without a doubt in my mind, and he is a PPR machine. Give me the over 80 catches for David Johnson this year all day.
You've lost your damn mind.
No.
Yes, I'm shocked you have DJ there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love DJ, and I know that he's only a couple years removed from being the number 1 overall fantasy player. But man, that's the worst offensive line, if not definitely one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL there in Arizona. And you know damn well you're going to have a rookie under center if all the talking heads about the draft are going to be correct, and they do take Kyler Murray number 1 overall, which could help because of the fact that running quarterbacks tend to have a positive effect on running backs, opening up more rushing lanes and such with read options and stuff of that nature. But I just don't trust this offensive line whatsoever. And I don't know if I see a rookie quarterback who I saw sling it down the field early and often, if I'm going to see him checking down on a consistent basis to David Johnson.
Your concerns are fair, but I'm hoping they spend those draft picks on that offensive line and give my boy Rosen another chance, because I kind of like Rosen, but I love myself some DJ. And at 6, I've got Todd Gurley all the way down at 6. I kind of wanted to put Melvin Gordon at 6, but I reluctantly put Todd.
You want to talk about injury concerns? I mean, you're dogging on Gurley for the injury concerns, and you mentioned Melvin Gordon. I mean, come on.
Fair.
Wake up.
I'm going to say this. I call bullshit. I'm willing to bet that if any draft that we're in together, you do not have the stones to take David Johnson before Todd Gurley in a draft. I'm calling bullshit on that. When you put the
audio clip,
please do. I'm calling bullshit.
You know what the thing is though, Tater? You might be right, because I honestly feel like if you're picking at the back half of the draft, and let's just say I'm picking at 7 in a 10-man league. If you're only playing in a 10-man league, I'm picking at 7. I honestly feel like I can go get Melvin Gordon at 7, and on the way back, I can get Johnson. If I can have David Johnson as my RB2, I am stoked. And I feel like that's going to happen in a lot of leagues this year.
It definitely probably will happen just because of how loaded the position is. But yeah, I'm just saying that I have a hard time believing that if given the option between the two, I think that you'll definitely pull the trigger on Gurley before Johnson. I just know you very well, and that's what I'm willing to bet on.
I'm looking forward to it. We play in enough leagues together. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to prove you wrong, that I will take Johnson over Gurley, even though Gurley won me championships in the last 2 years.
All right, so let's move. You want to go 7 through 10?
You want me to go first here?
Yeah, sure.
I need time to process the fact that you would honestly make that egregious move.
Yeah,
listen,
man.
I just want to point out that I won more championships than both of you combined last year.
I mean, go ahead and gloat, but whatever.
Last time I checked, the clock is 2019 now, bub.
You're right. I'm living in the past over here. Let me gloat, boys.
Yeah, I noticed that you don't have your trophy there. Did it get repossessed?
Ooh, no, it didn't. It's too heavy. I don't want to carry it this far.
Had some debt collection issues, did you? Leverage that forged piece of gold.
Oh man! All right, number 7. I got
what did it go for on the hot market? Just on the market, just out of curiosity.
$100.
Nice.
It's
a handshake with Joey Pesci.
An original Joey Pesci album signed by himself. All right, so 7, I got Melvin Gordon. You guys know I love Melvin Gordon. I'm not all that concerned with the injuries. I feel like last year was kind of a fluke injury. I watched that play happen. It made me sick. Lost the championship because of that. But I do love Melvin Gordon in this offense. Number 8, I do have Joe Mixon. I'm very high on Joe Mixon this year. He's a rock solid top 10 option in my opinion in PPR. Number 9, I've got Lev Bell all the way down at number 9. Fat Lev Bell. I do not really want too many pieces of Lev Bell in any of my leagues this year, but all the way at 9, it's hard to argue with that. This guy's a former number 1, number 2 overall fantasy pick. He's a talented player. He's going to catch a lot of passes in that offense with a sophomore quarterback. So I'm excited a little bit about Bell, but I am tempering my expectations because he's still going to be playing for the New York Jets. So that's who I've got at 9. I guess I'll round it out then at 10 right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've got James Conner at 10. And this was actually a tough decision for me between Fournette, Conner, and Chubb, even if you want to throw Dalvin in there. But I'm gonna put James Conner at number 10 here in this offense. I think he's gonna have another big season.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Lev Bell from here on out is Lev 3 bills.
Any of you have the stones to not put him in your top 10?
No, he's my number 9. I'll go through mine here. Melvin Gordon, James Conner, Lev Bell, Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
That offense is going to be high flying. He'll be their goal line back. I'm super excited about it.
So you got Chubb at 10?
Chubb's at 10, yep.
And 7, you had Gordon, you said?
Gordon, Connor, Lev 3 bills, and Nicky Chubb.
I like it. Tate, before you dive into yours, I know you guys, while I was out, talked about the Chubb situation there. I really like Chubb this year, and I don't know that Kareem Hunt affects his value at all. If you're hesitant on Nick Chubb because of Kareem Hunt, don't be. I mean, Kareem Hunt is obviously missing 8 games this year, and when he comes back, I don't know that it's necessarily going to eat that much into Chubb's value. I think sure he's going to catch a lot of passes and they're going to mix him in without a doubt. He's a talented player, but you can't think that far in advance in fantasy football. You have 8 weeks to ride the Nick Chubb train, and he's going to ride you into the playoffs because he's an absolute beast. And the Browns, I might set the over and under at 10.5 this year, boys, and feel fully confident on 10.5 wins plus for the Browns.
I'll go under 10.5.
You guys are psychos.
$50. Put up or shut up right now.
Deal. Shake.
Virtual handshake.
I'm staying out of this one because I'm not gonna lie. I like Cleveland. I mean, I think the door is open for them. I think the Steelers have gotten worse. The Browns got better, significantly better, with the additions that we already talked about, Odell, and even adding Kareem Hunt to the mix. And Baker who showed a ton of promise. I could definitely see them winning 11 games, but 10.5 that's pretty damn high, man. So I mean, I'm staying away from this one, boys. You guys battle it out.
I can't wait. Oh man, now I finally have a reason to wake up every day.
I'm putting it on the board just so you can stare at it all season, Buck.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to actually, could you go ahead and expense me a board so I could just have my own board?
I will do that for you.
We can have dueling boards.
Dueling boards. If you guys aren't watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing.
Now, I won't have a cute puppy in the corner of one board. I'll have to get creative and draw Snooty in my corner.
There you go. My wife drew that. She's a damn artist with the dry erase markers.
Well, with my my artistic skill, I might as well just put the damn Sharpie pen in my left hand and give it a go to get you a good Snooty. And I'm a right-hander.
It'll be look like you're drawing a Tootsie Roll on the board over there.
I mean, I wish that I still had my collection of the only art class I ever took, which was 9th grade art, where I got a D- one time. Not because of a lack of effort, just because I was so bad, the teacher had no other choice. And I wasn't upset about it at all. I deserved those grades. I was terrible, but I wish I had all of my different artistic endeavors because, my God, that would make for some great content if I could just post those on Instagram, like Buck's 9th grade art.
Yes.
Take 1. Be hilarious. This is an apple.
I love
this is a car.
Jesus. Yeah,
Taylor, you're up.
I tell you who can do some work on a chalkboard, man. I tell you what, I can. Give me those X's and O's. Give me a red pen, and I'll show you how to run them crossing routes there, bud. All right, so moving on. Number 7, I do have Lev Bell. You guys are a little bit lower on him, and I understand that there's a lot of risk. It's just that whenever Bell is healthy and is playing, the dude is at least good for 70-plus receptions. We know that he's got a weird style, and we don't know exactly what this offense is going to look like. I'm optimistic about the New York Jets offense, but admittedly, he's not playing with Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown, so we don't know what his production could be, but I still believe in Lev Bell's talent, especially in the PPR format. Definitely feel comfortable with Sam Darnold. I think he's going to catch at least 80 passes this year. Okay. So I've got Bell at 7. I've got James Conner at number 8, now that he is the bona fide number 1 lead back there in Pittsburgh, unless either of you guys believe that Jalen Samuels is going to get more involved. I think it's going to be James Conner's show. I don't know if I expect him to score 12 rushing touchdowns again. I mean, that was ridiculously high, but he looked damn good. I mean, the fact that this offense essentially didn't miss a beat without Lev Bell just speaks to what James Conner can do. And I still think that with Ben Roethlisberger healthy, they're going to have a pretty formidable offense yet again this year in 2019, as long as Roethlisberger stays healthy. At 9, I do have Joe Mixon. And guys, Joe Mixon, I feel as if there's one guy from 5 to 10 that I feel as if can make a significant push. Whenever I watch Joe Mixon, I feel like I'm watching an elite running back, but I just don't trust that offense. I don't trust Andy Dalton. AJ Green seems to get me. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying I don't trust Andy Dalton, and I don't know about AJ. AJ Green seems to be getting nicked up more in recent years than he did earlier on in his career, maybe getting a little bit older. There's just something I don't trust about the Cincinnati Bengals. Mixon's got all the talent in the world, still an offensive line that is average to below average at best. So that's why I've got Mixon at 9, even though I love his talent. And at 10, Levy, I've got David Johnson. I do still believe that David Johnson has, running back 1 talent and skill set, can still catch passes. That hasn't evaporated, but that offensive line just sucks. It's not good. Hopefully it gets better. Kyler Murray should definitely help out if he is indeed the quarterback for 2019. But Johnson, for the reason of the offensive line and how much this offense struggled, and we don't know with a rookie quarterback that's going to be likely taking over, I just don't know what the upside is going to be with David Johnson, or if I can count on his production, if he's going to have a bounce back year, or if that offensive line just sucks so much that it's literally sucking all the potential and upside from David Johnson. So he almost didn't make my top 10. But I don't know about you guys. I know that you guys probably didn't go looking past the top 10
I went for 14, 15.
For this episode. Yeah, dude, there was so many guys that I would like to put at that I could put at that 10 spot.
I thought you were going to have Leonard Fournette for sure there, Tate. I know you like Fournette, but he burned you bad last year.
He did burn me bad last year. I thought about putting Fournette there. As much as Big Dick Nick, whenever he got his opportunities in Philadelphia, came through and actually produced, I just don't know if that leaves Fournette with a whole ton of upside. I see him getting a ton of volume, and he's a beast inside the 5. But dude, this guy gets nicked up all the damn time. He's just always dealing with some sort of injury. I mean, somebody called him, what was it? What did they call him? It was like the Gronkowski of the running back position. Like, he's great when he's healthy, but he's just always getting nicked up. So for that reason, I steered away from Fournette. I mean, Aaron Jones, Kerryon Johnson, Sony Michel, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, Devonta Freeman, and even Phillip Lindsay crossed my mind at
How about
this.
Damian Williams?
I mean, is he the guy? I mean, who knows? If he is, now, if they don't draft anybody, I know they added Carlos Hyde, but if they don't draft anybody and don't add anybody else via trade or anything like that, Damian Williams definitely jumps into it. I just have a gut feeling that they're going to try to draft someone.
I hear you on that for sure.
That's all. I mean, other than that, yeah, Damian Williams if I knew he was going to be the guy, he'd be the pick at 10 easily.
For the record, I have David Johnson at 11, Dalvin at 12, and Aaron Jones at 13. I actually have Fournette and Michelle right underneath that, different tier there.
So we're pretty similar across the board. I mean, our like 9-10s are, we've got different people in our top 10. But I mean, if I can get Leonard Fournette as my RB2 in 2019, I'm pretty excited about that.
Absolutely.
I'm pumped.
All right. So
I'm also scared shitless, but I'm pumped.
You're scared, but you're pumped. Or David Johnson for that matter. I think David Johnson's, like I said, is going to be an RB2 for a lot of teams out there this year if you're picking towards the back half of the draft.
Running back stacked.
Yeah.
It's the most loaded that I can remember in recent memory.
I mean, hell, I got Marlon Mack all the way down at 16.
I didn't even bring up Marlon Mack. Yeah. Damn.
Phillip Lindsay, Chris Carson, Carry On, Derrick Henry even. I mean, dare I say Derrick Henry's a top 20 back?
I think I've got Carry On like closer to 20 than you guys have him. I mean, I'm concerned with the injury and all that, but I like Carry On Johnson. He's a great player.
Also, we got Darius Geis entering the fold in Washington this year, so there's a lot of intrigue. Tariq Cohen. I'm pumped.
Oh yeah, we didn't even mention Tariq Cohen now that Jordan Howard's not there, and we didn't. Of course, Jordan Howard. He's not sniffing the top 10 for me, but but yeah, those guys are all players that I could see having solid seasons. Again, running back is just absolutely stacked this year. It's wild.
You guys are getting me all chubbed up for.
Yeah.
Right,
Feed me running backs.
I'm going to give a quick rundown of everyone's top 10 real quick, just to recap. So Bucky's got Saquon at 1, Zeke at 2, Gurley at 3, McCaffrey at 4, Kamara at 5, Joey Mixpiece at 6, Melvin Gordon at 7, James Conner at 8, Love Bell at 9, and Nicky Chubb at 10. Love it, Buck. Tater's got Quan at 1, Kamara at 2, Gurley at 3, CMC at 4, Zeke all the way down at 5, Melvin Gordon at 6, Love Bell at 7, James Conner at 8, Joey Mixon at 9. So we all have Joey Mixon in our top 10, and David Johnson at number 10. Bucky does not have David Johnson in his top 10, just to note. And for myself, I've got Zeke at 1, Saquon at 2, Christian McCaffrey at 3, Alvin Kamara at 4, David Johnson all the way up there at 5. A little questionable, according to you guys. Number 6, I've got...
Not questionable, not at all.
Todd Gurley. At number 7, I've got Melvin Gordon. Number 8, Joey Mixon. Number 9, Fat Love Bell. And at number 10, James Conner.
You guys are just shitting on Lev Bell.
Lev 3 bells?
Lev 3 bells. There we go.
Lev dinner bell.
Yes, that's it. That's what he will formerly be known as for the remainder of 2019 here on Fantasy Focused. But that brings us to our favorite time of the episode. What's bothering you this week, Bucky?
So, as you guys know, and all of our listeners, I had a relationship with the Sunoco gas station that was 2 blocks away from my house. And that Sunoco gas station, managed by a lovely gentleman named Mo, was everything I could have hoped for in a gas station, right? They had Busch Light for $9.99 an 18-pack, which is just a wonderful price to sell, and believe you me, they did sell. And I had a big part in that, and I like to think that I helped out a lot of Americans through my contributions into the Bud Light purchases. There's also ample chewing tobacco available at all times. If you were fancying a cigarette, never any cigarette problems. They didn't ever have huge lines full of lottery people. It was a very organized store. There was very little overcrowded, shitty gas station food items lying everywhere. But since they have changed over to 7-Eleven, this place might as well be a goddamn flea market. You walk into this place, it's lines out the door with these morons playing lottery. They get first dibs and they don't ever move from the counter. And then you have the problem of this 7-Eleven, they're trying to sell too much food. They're making pizzas and all sorts of weird waffle bacon breakfast sandwiches that look like they've been sitting there for weeks. And then the worst looking donuts and pastries I've ever seen. And I think it's the same pastries that have been in there since they opened it as a 7-Eleven 4 months ago. But the thing that gets me down is the attitude of the employees. Everything they're trying to sell me more and more shit, and it's all stuff I would never ever purchase. Like the one guy today is like, "Hey, would you like this gummy lollipop dildo?" Like it literally just looked like a dildo. Dude, I'm a 31-year-old man. I know I look like I'm 12, but my man, I don't need a swirly lollipop dildo today.
Can we say dildo?
Sure.
Absolutely. Dildo. Yeah. Of course I can say dildo. Tay, I just said it.
They just got too corporate for you, Buck.
I don't know what it is, but the whole feeling in there is not warm and fuzzy. And I miss Mo and I miss my Busch Lights. I mean, they're serving Busch Lights when they ever have them for $15 for an 18 rack. And that's just preposterous. I can go to Walgreens where I can get it for $9.99 and I get bottles. They have the rare bottles over there, which is wonderful. I don't like seeing them trying to peddle all of these unique, different kinds of food that I feel like no one who is sober would ever purchase. So are they trying to cater to like street-ridden drug addicts with these cheap thrills of food items? Like this, I swear to you, they have like a stuffed waffle bacon sandwich that they're trying to peddle on me. And every time I get up there, like, have you joined my 7-Eleven? You get rewards. You can get this dildo if you buy it enough times and you get rewards. Yeah, get rewards if you want to always have a deal on your Red Bull purchases. And the whole thing is a bummer and it really stinks. And I don't like corporate. I don't like the fact that 7-Eleven has made that place into a corporate shell. And it's a flea market. If I want to go to a flea market, I'll go to Oldsmar. I'll drive 30 minutes.
All right. The more important question here is what happened to Mo? Did Mo get sucked into the corporate world, or was he a victim of corporate America?
I think Mo was a Sunoco guy, and then 7-Eleven bought him out, and now I have no idea who the manager is in there. It's probably a new manager every day, the way that place is run.
It's disappointing, man.
Yeah,
RIP
very
Mo.
disappointing. Yeah.
Throw Mo on the RIP list.
Mo, put him on the board. Put him on my new whiteboard. Shout out Mo.
Draw a picture of Mo in the bottom right-hand corner of your board.
I got you. Mo. You're going to live on in infamy.
That guy needs to get traded immediately. His fantasy value just tanked for the 2019 year and beyond.
He's not the manager anymore. I know what he drives. He drives a black, tricked out Nissan Maxima. Yes. He's got all sorts of nice limo tint on there. It's beautiful.
Well, sorry to hear about that, Buck. I mean, corporate America just screwing us over here royally. But hey, real quick, Nathan K, thanks for joining us. And thanks for all the love and support, brother. So we'll go ahead and take your quick comment here. Yes. He loves Chubb as well, Levy. So he's on board with you. And also, I believe you guys both are high on Chubb. But
I'm very chubby.
Yeah,
I got a big Chubb right now. I got him all the way down at 12, but I think he's top 10 upside all day. Thanks for joining us, Nathan. I do not see the comments because I can't multitask, but appreciate the support.
Yeah, he also asked about how about Geis coming back from injury. Looked great before getting hurt. I mean, we saw him for what, a quarter in preseason, but yes, he did look good. And I actually had him as my third best running back, like right there with Rashad Penny coming into last year's draft. But point being, I mean, any thoughts on Geis before we sign off?
I'm just excited to see where he comes out. If he comes out firing this year, I think he will. I think he has top 15 potential. Absolutely.
I think I'm going to draft him like 20 to 23, but I think he's got top 15 upside. And I think you can get him as your RB3 without a doubt in my mind.
Oh, so definitely.
I like Geis this year. A lot of people that aren't avid fantasy focused listeners and followers are not going to be even aware of Geis. They're going to forget about him by this year. So depending on how soon you draft and how much he's playing in the preseason, I think that's a big value play is Darius Geis.
I love the upside that Geis brings. I mean, if you're going to be getting him in the third or fourth round, even potentially the fifth, depending on whatever your starting lineup formats are and stuff of that nature. I thought the same thing about Dalvin Cook, though. And coming off of a similar type of knee injury and looked and showed flashes, but took him a while to get back up to speed. And by the time he did, it was too late. mean, struggled with a hamstring injury that pretty much cost him the first 8 weeks of the season. So, point being, I like the upside though with Darius, guys. I do think if he's, depending on what I see from him in the preseason and like reports coming out of camp, I'm going to definitely be monitoring to him, and somebody that I may creep up my board as I feel more comfortable that he's healthy heading into the season. So thanks again for the support, Nathan. We love you over here, brother.
Shout out, Nathan.
Yes.
All right, guys. So that'll do it for episode 171 here of the fantasyfocus.com podcast. Now you can find us anywhere that you podcast. So however you digest that, there'd be on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or SoundCloud. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Also, if you're just joining us here on YouTube, go ahead and punch the like button and subscribe while you're here. Sound off in the comments too if there are about who some of your top 10 running backs are, or if you agree or disagree with some of our picks, depending on how the order is. So also, shows that we have on the channel, Talking Tottenham, Bet the Over, the Fantasy Debate, and Playing Pepper. All kinds of different shows coming at you here on the Fantasy Focus channel that is brought to you by the original Hooters. Bucky just hit 171 wings eaten, so go ahead and punch the like button as it allows us to be able to continue to feed into Bucks and his Hooters wings eating problems. I'm more of a Tots guy. He's a curly OG fries guy. Twitter handle, at Fantasy Focus with an extra D, at DTater4, at Bucks the 59. Until next time, guys. Later, says the Tater.
Hey, we got episode 200 coming up. Can we get Joe Pesci to come on for episode 200?
Oh man, I'll see what I can do. I'm gonna find him. I will hunt him down as the headhunter I am.
Hey, Snooty, play that Joe Pesci.
Every time I get the urge to visit my hometown, I'm sure that all my cousins will try to track me down. My heart says go, my head says no, it's best to stay away. But if I appear, I'm sure to hear all those jerk-offs say, hey, cousin Benny! Your cousin Benny!